All right, guys, we are live. Welcome to the Faddah Figures podcast. Tonight we have James, Kevin, and a special guest. Our special guest is Coach John. Coach John, how do you say your last name?
Last name Rutledge. So Rutledge. Just
Rutledge.
combine the two.
All right, so welcome to the podcast, guys.
Glad
Yeah,
to
and just
be
want to let you
here.
guys know we know Coach John through CrossFit. So just want to let you guys know if it's like, hey, why is this guy on here? Like we know him through CrossFit. He's the one that I would always looked at and was like, dang, like he's making me look bad. But everyone always made me look bad, so it didn't matter. But he made me look bad.
So Coach John is Coach John, you're recently retired from the Air Force?
Air Force, correct. Yes.
Nice.
Yep.
So what brought you back to Hawaii after retirement?
Really, it's kind of tied to your all's logo, your theme, which is just a sense of community, the local community in a sense, and just being connected to that. That's definitely not something that you can find everywhere. In the time that we were here from 2015 to 2018, we just, fell in love with the people, just felt welcome everywhere we went, even our church. We're still connected to our church that we went to back then. And it's almost to the fact of why I'm just now leaving Zeus, after being gone for so long. You just get to seeing your family, you just talk story, and it's like, oh man, I need to go, guys. Okay, I really need to go so I can, get on this podcast with these guys. But that's really all it is in a nutshell. Just coming back to feeling a place to where you belong, and of course, Hawaii is like the cherry on top. You can't beat that.
I don't think we ever talked about this, but do you guys, like Kevin, do you have a definition of what island life is to you?
No, we haven't really talked about
Yeah.
that, but it's well, I guess island life can be different for every person, and also I think that also it can be different for other islands, right? Not
Yeah.
just Hawaii. So I mean, but I think Hawaii is like what Coach John was saying. That it's a very unique place, but to the point where, yes, like everyone is family. You treat the person that's your neighbor or your coworker or someone that you meet that through social circles, and you, I guess, create this type of bond with them that's not really the same in any other place that I've been to. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's definitely different. It's definitely different, and I
And I
think
think
that
it's hard
yeah.
for me in particular because I grew up here and I lived here my whole life. Like I don't know anything different. That's why it's pretty interesting to hear, like, to see people like Coach John who is not from here and lived here for a little while, and
Right.
then leave and then want to come back, because there are definitely a lot of people where the island life just isn't for them, and so they come here and visit and then they just can't wait to get back to the mainland. So it's always
Right.
interesting because, like I said, I've never experienced anything else. James, what does being from Texas um or the mainland, James, what does island life mean to you?
I mean, same like Coach John, man. Like I came here when I was in the Navy. We stopped here before we got deployed, and I just fell in love, man. Like I said, the people were really nice. Like I don't know if I ever told you this story. Like my first day here, I was at the beach. I was like, what, like 20 years old? I got my backpack on, like totally like a tourist, walking on the beach. And I remember I was just sitting there by myself, just like thinking to myself, man, I'm in Hawaii. This is cool. And I
Right.
remember there was like these local people to my right, big old tent. You know how locals do it. They're barbecuing, and this auntie came up to me. I was like, "Hey," and I was like, at first I was like, "Man, I must be talking to someone else." I was like, "Hey," and I looked at her, and she's like, "Yeah, you." I was like, "Oh, me?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You hungry?" And I was like, oh no, it's okay, ma'am. I'm like, hey, I'm no ma'am, I'm your auntie. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, we got plenty food. We got plenty food. You should grab. And I was like, no, it's okay. I was like, hey, I ain't gonna ask you again. Come over here and grab some food. I was like, all right, grab
Nice.
some food and chill with them for a little bit. I was like, dude,
Nice.
obviously it's not like that all the time, but
Yeah.
I was just like, this is pretty cool. And
That is a pretty cool story, though.
You ate with some random
Yeah,
strangers.
that is.
That is a cool
I
story.
don't know, man. I don't know if it was because I was Asian. I don't know. She
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
I was somebody.
That sums it up, though. That is how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just like some auntie. She was like,
Where were you? What beach was this? What beach was this?
Hmm?
Do you remember? Do you remember what beach it was?
Waikiki.
Really? In
I was
Waikiki?
in
I thought you'd
Waikiki.
have been like down North Shore or something, or on the west
Dude,
side.
I'm in the military, bro. I ain't got no car.
That's
I ain't
why,
riding
but
over
but
there.
the story is like kind of weird. Like
Yeah.
I don't see a family at Waikiki doing that, but that is pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Like it was like the Alamana Beach thing. So I guess not really Waikiki, but like like the
Oh,
Alamana
like
Beach
by
park over
like
there.
walls. Yeah, by
Yeah.
walls.
So I was like, cool, man. So I mean, yeah, to me it's just community. I told myself when I got out of the military, I'm gonna live here. Obviously, I lived here, went to school here at UH, and I don't really see myself ever leaving. But we'll see, man. Cost of living is pretty crazy here.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see.
Yeah, a lot of people. Speaking of that, I think Kevin and Coach John was just at a quote unquote going away party. Is that what you guys would call that?
For
Yeah.
Coach
Yeah, pretty
J.
much. Yeah.
Because
For Coach
I mean,
J,
yeah, it's getting
it's-
expensive here.
Well, I mean, he's from what I got from him when I was talking to him is he's taking opportunities that that's I don't want to say has always been there, but that's recently come up, and he's been at Zeus for like a really long time, and he feels this is probably his best time to take those opportunities. And as I was talking to him tonight, I was like, I'm super happy for you.
Yeah.
This is probably you've changed so many people's lives at this gym, and like his energy and his vibe, it's infectious. Like everyone that I've known or that I know or knew that's gone to Zeus, Jay was one of the reasons why.
Yeah, for sure.
And that really says something, about him and his personality and everything like that. So so it was just a going away party, and I was talking to him. He said like he's not like leaving for good. He's just he's kind of like stepping away from the gym as far as like coaching and everything like that. He's still gonna be around. He's gonna be going to like Seattle and to Missouri and just being like very, in his words, quote unquote, mobile. He's gonna be mobile. But yeah, so he said he'll still be around. Like if you want to hang out or whatever, yeah, he's still be available.
Yeah, because I've, like with him, and then I've noticed like a few of my neighbors and a lot of people are just moving off island just because it's just getting way too expensive and crazy. So,
the funny thing about that, I think I was just watching a news special, like a local news special, and they're talking about. I think she used to be a news anchor here in Hawaii. She moved to Vegas because it's getting so expensive, and I think, I'm not sure if they're renting or if they bought a place in Vegas, but they're actually renting out their home here. So they didn't sell it. They're just renting it out. But because it's so expensive here that, they couldn't, it was hard for them to, just live life.
Yep. And that's why it's crazy.
Dude, it's nuts. Yeah, my Diana, her auntie moved to Vegas, Summerlin, and literally had their house built. Nice freaking, I think it's a 4 or 5 bedroom house, 2-car garage.
Yeah.
For like a little, probably under like 400, like 375 or 400. I'm like, dude, that makes me really sad because we just bought a house and I'm like, oh my god, like that's it's hard, man.
It is hard, but well, since we got the time. I guess this is a good time to give an update, right?
Yeah.
From our last episode. So it's been so Finn just had his 2-week birthday on Wednesday. So he's 2 weeks so far, and he's getting bigger. As far it's I guess it's hard for me to tell because I see him every day, and like I can tell he's getting a little bit bigger, but not like the size that you regularly think of babies. How they should be.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so he's getting bigger. He's like,
wait till they get to Coach John's kids bigger. That'd be
well,
crazy.
it's like D. I gotta say, she's a champ. She's really like taking care of him a lot more than I am. Like we were talking.
I feel you, man.
Like we were talking, Coach John, in our last episode, we were talking about how, as far as our the the parenting, and how I only took like a week off of work before I went back to work. Because
Wow, okay.
she told me, she's like, oh, I don't want you to stay too long away from work. I want you to go
I
back
think
to
you
work.
stressed her out a lot, Kevin. I think maybe that's what it was. I think it came up with that
I don't
conclusion.
know,
I think
but
you're stressing her
Creating
out.
more work for her.
Yeah,
No,
I think so. Yeah,
So
she had to
and
take
then-
care of Finn and Kevin.
So and then also, she lets me sleep throughout the night. Whenever baby
Yeah.
wakes up, she doesn't wake me up. She doesn't.
Were you doing it wrong on purpose, Kevin? Were you putting the diaper on backwards just so
I
you don't
know.
have to?
No, I'm doing everything right. She's a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that we have Coach John too, because we all have like young kids. And Coach John, how much kids do you have?
So my wife and I, we have 5 between the two of us. So we don't have any together, but 5 overall.
What's the ages?
So the ages range from 22 Solomon, 21 Cana, 20 Genesis, 16 Heaven, 15 Elisha.
Okay.
So yeah, they're all of course past the baby ages, and are kind of entering teen years. Some have exited their teen years and just trying to figure out adulthood now. So it's interesting to be able to walk them through it as best as you can as a parent, as much as they will take your advice, knowing that when you were their age and their shoes, you would not have, listened to your parents if you didn't like what they were saying. So, it's definitely different, just being able to see the transition, like we were talking about earlier, just see how, their personalities change. They evolve more into, who they, or, the things they like, and are figuring out, who they are as a person. So it's different, and it's fun and exciting at the same time. Not always fun, of course, just, as you can attest to, Kevin, just being able to, or wake up, because the baby, when our babies were young, they were sleeping in the room next to us. So we're in the bassinet in the room with us, and it was just being able to, I don't know, it was kind of exciting, like you were saying, James. Just to be able to be there and just kind of go through that whole process of this little person needing you to help them live, basically. And then as they, just like everything, we see it in nature. As the birds get older, they get kicked out the nest, and same thing for kids. As they get older, some of them want to get kicked out. Some of them don't want to get kicked out. We're just
They just keep
being
flying
able to
back
walk
to the
through
nest.
that. Yeah, just keep circling the nest.
Yeah, Kev, you missed it. I was talking to Coach. I was telling him, like, man, like I was looking at Maddie today, and I was like, a part of me like actually misses when she was like a week, 2 weeks old. Like, it's crazy to say that because I was like dead. Like, I mean, I was waking up, it's just, but just to see, like, they're so small and like they're just like you're just holding them, and it's like that. It's just like, man, like,
I think you
I
just
don't
missed the
know.
fact that they don't move and like you can
Yeah,
just hold
you can leave them in one place.
because now they're
And
just
you don't have to
running all over the
worry.
place.
Yeah, but it's just because they're never gonna be like that ever again.
Yeah.
Like, Maddie
Yeah.
will never be a toddler ever. It's like,
Unless they get sick. Because Shaden's been a little sick
ah,
this week. And like we were talking to with one of our coworkers and they're like, "Oh, how's he doing? How's it?" And then it's like, "Tell me not though. Like it's so much fun when they're sick because they just lay there and they don't want to do nothing."
Exactly. Take advantage of the fact they don't have to go to school.
oh yeah.
But Coach John, tell us a little bit about how it is with the when they get older of like letting them make the mistakes on their own when you know it's gonna like when you know that they're making the wrong decisions. Like when do you intervene or when do you just let them make the mistakes and learn on their own? How do you navigate
Um,
those times?
yeah, it all just really starts with just I would say the relationship that you are able to create with your kids. From 0 years old to whenever they decide to leave the house. I think that definitely because if my parents told me, gave me some advice on something, now, I'd be more receptive of it, knowing that obviously they've been, living 60, almost 70 years, whereas, my teenage self, I would have taken it, but still would have kind of tried to, sort through it a little bit more to, just get to the good stuff for the part that I can really apply. Perfect example is our daughter Kana. She's about to give birth in next week or within
Wow.
2 weeks. Yeah, so that in a sense of itself, just being able to,
You're
man,
gonna
you're
be a
gonna be a
grandpa already.
yeah. I was telling Troy, like, we're not gonna call it grandpa. We're gonna call it, we'll figure out a name for it. I don't want to sound like an old person. But just to be able, because she just went back to the mainland there in Utah, so she left this past Wednesday. She's gonna stay there with her for an entire month. So when she has a baby, a few weeks after, and then they're gonna come back here together. All three of them, and they're gonna come here. She's gonna stay with us for about a good month or so, and she's gonna go back. I mean, she is married. Her husband, he's in the Army Guard, so his schedule is kind of all over. So he'll, obviously stay back and work and everything. But I think it's more of a opportunity, I would say, for my wife, our daughter, just to, just continue to solidify those relationships, strengthen those bonds. Because as they, as you grow up, you think like, oh man, I hate my parents. They always telling me to do stuff or, want me to do this and do that. But, once you get older, you're like, okay, I see, some of their logic and their reasoning. And to answer your question, I would say whenever you intervene is really when you see that they are, kind of open and receptive, because you don't want to jump in too early and be like, okay, before you even go through this, I already know how it's going to end, just do this and,
Yeah.
you'll save yourself, some time and heartache. But, for them to go through that process, it still helps them, again, learn about themselves, figure out, for one, resolving and handling conflict, difficult situations, and all that stuff. I think that's definitely important. Just being able to see them go through that. See them, struggle a bit too, but then just know that, or let them know, reassure it to them that, hey, we're always here as parents to be able to, support you and any way you need be. If that means coming back and living with us, then we can figure all that stuff out later. But yeah.
I got a question for you, Coach John. When I mean, obviously, you probably have a good relationship with all your kids. When did you or I guess at what age, when did you start having like that really open, clear communication channels with them, where to the point, like they'll tell you anything that
Hmm.
that happens in their life, you know?
Mm, I would say, when did that happen? Sorry, my contacts are irritating. I might take
So
them out later. But
no, no.
I, I would say, I was talking to our son about this today. Our youngest Elisha, that each one of them are different. Their personalities
Mhm.
are different. Some are guarded. Like when they talk on the phone, FaceTime. They don't want to be seen on the camera, so you just see the ceiling. When you're talking to, like, I called you because I wanted to see you. Not see the ceiling. But and learning to be okay with that. Whereas our other kids, Genesis and Heaven in Georgia, they're more outgoing. They're like the life of the party. They're like always have to be involved in something. And it seems, whereas Solomon, Cain, and Elisha, are not necessarily like that. They're good with being by themselves, or just not in the crowd all the time. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. And it's just being able to respect them enough to give them their space. As far as telling me, whatever, Genesis and Heaven, they're kind of more willing to divulge that information, I would say. And even it comes down to us as parents, like, hey, we've been through some of those situations before, and just don't think that if you ever come across it, that you're the first person to experience this. You can come to us and talk to us about it. There'll be no judgment or anything, and just really just try to help them to move through it, work through it.
Cool, cool.
Now,
So, yeah.
wait, so with that being said, how old are you again, Coach John?
So I'll be 42 in October,
42.
October
Okay.
12th. Yeah.
Okay, that's not too bad. But so when as you're raising your kids, did you raise them like how you were raised, or did you decide to create your own way of parenting and how you're gonna bring them up?
Right. So a little bit of both. You create your own parenting style. Because some of the things my parents did, I didn't like. Some of the things they did, obviously, I liked, and just take and pick little pieces here, add them to your parenting style. Um, but trying not to force it at the same time. Because one thing that we're big on is church. We always go to church all together. And I mean, if we're serving or volunteering, we're there for 4 or 5 hours, and so be it. We're all going to be there, and our kids have come to enjoy it in a sense. Sometimes they'll even, or the older ones were, part of teams and stuff, and so it's just almost kind of like a family venture. We go to church to serve and everything, and it's not like, oh, we're going to church again, and be here all day. I could be playing Fortnite or something like that. But so really, just some of those traditions, I would say, that you were raised with, that you try to, continue on, um, and really just, let them see the importance of, so that there's something that, they will, continue on with their families as well. So, but it's still just I would say a balance between everything, just to be able to still let them be free to be themselves, while, setting those boundaries, those guidelines for them to, stay within those parameters, in a sense.
Yeah, I got something. So when you say you you allow your kids free to be themselves, um, obviously every kid is different. You wish for the best for your kids. Um, you can raise them perfectly. Doesn't mean they're gonna live their lives perfectly. They can always go off their path. So I guess my question is like, how do you handle not just arguments, but just say like you raised your kid this way, but they totally do like a 180 or something, or like it could be with morale, religion, politics, just those big topics that no one really obviously wants to talk about.
Right.
Like, how do you handle that? Like I don't know, like I don't know if that's ever happened with you. And
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. I would say, um, really just staying true to the way you raised them. Just like staying away, and just continuing on the path because of our. So, one thing, I did go through a divorce. I was married, obviously, to my kid's mother for about 9 years, and we divorced, and when we divorced, I was overseas at the time. I was in Portugal, so my ex would use my oldest daughter. She would have her call me all different times of the night, just crying and like, why are you leaving us, daddy? Why are you doing this and why are you doing that? So from those years up until she was maybe 17 or 18, she just like, resented me, like hated me. Every time I would call, she would just have an attitude like, you left us here, it's your fault that we're, not together, this and that. Man, it hurt, it definitely hurt, just to hear your kid just like, oh man, I don't want to have anything to do with you. And you just try to stay true to that, there were some times where, okay, yeah, you lose your temperature, you're both arguing and everything too. But just let them know that because they would always come visit during the summers and everything, and she just wasn't like totally written me off or anything like that. But there was still just that resentment, I would say, that was planted, by her mother. But through her coming to visit after the divorce and seeing that, okay, these other kids are okay, there's nobody really fighting or vying for attention, they're just one, everybody just wants the same thing, just to be a part of family. So being able to see that and just for her to be able to, just know that obviously, I'm still gonna be me. I'm still gonna be here. I'm still gonna just, do what I need to do for her growth, really just changed her mind. So until, the relationship that we all have now, and that's what we try to promote, for our kids, just that we've seen a lot, we've been through a lot, and I understand every kid wants to go through life on their own, and but we're still here to support, if you ever choose to seek that advice,
okay, cool.
That's a pretty cool story about.
Why, James? Are
being
you
in the
worried
divorce.
when Maddie gets older? She's gonna.
I mean, just as parents, I mean, she's a year and a half, but I don't know, like just, I mean, I'm not huge on politics.
That's
I mean,
James's
politics are a big thing.
Asian. That's James's Asian side coming out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
he
my
was-
Asian side. But like, I don't know. Like, remember we had that long conversation about like boys wearing skirts or something like that. Just like how do you like? I never want to let Maddie know that she can't be herself around me.
I think
Regardless if I don't agree with what she does, obviously it can't be illegal. You cannot be like obviously trying to hurt someone, but like, if you're gonna be a lesbian or whatever the decision might be, if I don't agree with it, I always want her to know that
you still
I
love
will
her.
always be her father.
Yeah.
I might not agree with it, but I will always love her. I will always be there for her. But it's just, I don't know. Like, think about it, dude. Like, obviously, us growing up 20, 30, 40 years ago is totally different as our kids are growing up right now in this age.
So
Maddie's growing up right now in the next 10, 20 years. I don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, so it's just thinking about that kind of stuff. There's people talking about binaries like, hey, I don't want to be her or him. I want, it's just, I would never think about that kind of stuff, And
so do you
thinking in education, seeing kids like, man, it's
would you say like, so in that situation you're talking about, and then you obviously still love them, but if you don't support their decisions, would you still consider that like you still love them but you don't support them? Is that like, would that be bad to like not support them but still love them? Is that possible? I'm just curious for like my own.
Asking for a friend.
That's hard, man. Like, I mean, I feel like every case is probably different. but it's just, man, like, when do you draw the line? You know, it's
Yeah,
just,
that's what I'm trying to figure
that's
out.
hard.
That's what I'm
It's
trying
hard.
to
Like,
figure
I
out.
don't want them to, like you said, like, believe like they came to me being open,
Yeah.
you know, like,
And you
I don't
still
know.
love
Yeah, feel
them.
you
You don't
betrayed their
agree with
trust
them.
or
So
something. Yeah.
you, I guess you don't support that decision, but you can still support them in general, I guess would be the best thing.
And
Yeah,
and
I'd say just me there.
and it's just me being old fashioned too, I guess, in a sense of like
Well,
I
that's what
don't
we're
know, like,
talking about. I think that's
yeah,
what we're all trying to figure out, the three of us with our young ones and Coach John with his granddaughter, grandson?
Well, she doesn't know,
Oh, doesn't know. Okay,
so
with his
she wants to be
grandchild.
surprised. Yeah,
Like we're just
grandchild.
trying to
Yeah.
figure out, like you said, James, like with what's coming up in the future, with everyone talking about they don't want to be called he or she, or they just want to be binary. It's like, man, like
yeah,
that's what we're gonna have to try to figure out
yeah. Or like
and
if
try to navigate through.
let's say Maddie in the next 20 years tells me like, hey, um, like I consider myself a man and wants to go through the procedures, all that stuff.
Dang,
Like
that's
right now,
hard.
James, I will be very sad because I'm just old
Yeah,
fashioned. That's not how I was raised up. But at
Mhm.
the same time, it's like she's still my daughter. Like,
yeah,
you know,
it's rough.
like how do you
Yeah.
how do you like go, like I don't want to be that parent
You just
like
pray and
that's
hope
you
that
know, and straight up
Yeah.
disowns your kids because that's gonna mess up your kid
yeah,
more than
Mhm.
you'll ever know. Like, um, you know, and it's just, yeah, it's like even just religion. Like, you know, I had a pastor, you know, when Diana and we got like when we were dating, um, so Diana, you know, if you didn't know, she's not, you know, she's not Christian. You know, I'm Christian, and I remember my pastor told me like, "You're going to hell." And I was like,
dang,
wow,
Wow.
like that's straight up. And I really looked up to this guy. Like this is the same guy I went to North Korea with. Like we went to North Korea together. Like this pastor, like I really looked up to him. And I remember we're sitting down. He's like, nope. He threw the Bible at me. He's like, you're going to hell. And I'm just like, it just really gave me a bad taste.
dang.
Mhm.
Religion and just how, and then my mom, obviously, she's a pastor. I was like so worried. But you know, she gave me the greatest advice. She just told me, you know, James, um, you know, you being a Christian or not, that doesn't define who you are. Like you you need to, all your job is not to change Diana. Like only God can change people. Like your job is to be a
Mhm.
loving husband, loving father, and just be there, and everything will work itself out. And um, that helped me a lot because I was worried like my mom was gonna be like, nope, you can't marry her because she's like hardcore, like like Christianity. But when she told me that, I was like, wow, okay, that really.
Mhm.
What's fun? Okay, so it's funny that you bring that up because I think me and Dee talked about, we talked about the religion thing, and as far as like, okay, so how is Finn gonna be raised? And like, okay, yeah, of course we're gonna raise him Catholic, and then when he reaches a certain age, and if he wants to go another way or another, then so be it. But we're gonna raise him in that faith, and he can, if he chooses to decide to do something else, then that's fine. But as long as uh, you know we want to set like some kind of foundation, so
Mhm.
at least from there he can you know see what he can choose, what he wants to believe in, and from so on and so forth. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So James, why did he say that you were going to hell? I mean,
No, I feel like Christians like to always use that unequally yoked.
Not all Christians, not all Christians.
Yeah, yeah, not all. Sorry, not all Christians. Um, uh, you know, most or some Christians like to. I mean, the thing about the Bible is it's all
And I
entertaining.
feel like it's not Christians in general. It's just religious people, James. It's not.
Yeah, sorry. Um, so he brought up the Bible verse that you're not supposed to be unequally yoked, and
Mhm.
you shouldn't be like that. You should marry someone that's Christ, like God created you to be with Christians, and it's just,
Right.
I don't know. He just really, when he told me that, I was just like, wow, dude, you're a pastor, bro. Like how dare you, like, one, tell anyone that they're going to hell? Like, you don't know that.
Mhm.
No one knows that. Only God knows that. Like, so, it just, yeah, it was tough when he said that. I was like, wow, okay, like that
Yeah,
was,
I can understand that because that's exactly what you don't want to have people think about Christianity. Like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, Kevin. You're gonna raise your van to be Catholic. And even if if whoever raised their child to not have a religion, like okay, at least give them the framework so that they can choose or not choose.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our son said one day or recently was like, why do we have to go to church so much? And it's for one because it is tradition, that go to church, you honor the Lord and everything by coming together. But at the same time, it's still just the community. Same, no different than Zeus. No different than some of your jobs. At least the ones you like to be around. Just certain people. And just being able to really help other people out. Just to be a part of something that's just bigger. Like people join the Air Force because they want to be, or the military in general because they want to be a part of something bigger. Something bigger than themselves. So I think that's what religion. If what's the word? If practiced, accurately, and I think you said it, Chris. The Bible is kind of, it can be kind of open to interpretation at times. So a lot of people, to include, a buddy of mine, that I serve with, he's against Christianity. Yet we're still friends. We don't bash one another. If he posts something, okay. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I'm not gonna post on his. Oh,
Yeah.
you're wrong for that or whatever. That's not
Yeah.
my place. So and I even respect his religion. And have come to even ask questions about it. So I think it's just that shared with that mutual respect. And just with everything, with the culture here, like you were talking earlier, James, just being able to, for one, I think it's just amazing that you can come here and the minority is the majority in a sense, you know, and everybody, of course, minority myself, you just you're attracted to that, everybody just respects one another. You don't think of yourself highly than you should or anything like that, and just continue to enjoy what you have. Enjoy the spot on this earth that God gave you. That everybody wants to come to. All throughout the year. And just be a part of that. I think that's just a good part of it. Part about it.
yeah. So if you can give Kevin one tip that saved you when you were raising your kids, I mean, obviously it can save us too. But for that first, I guess I'm gonna call it hell. Like, not, it's not hell week, but it's that first 3 months, those 90 days.
Yeah.
What would you give him?
Um, I would say tell Dee that you love her, man. You really show her that you appreciate her.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do, but just don't ever, forget that. Women, they do a lot. They push out, your son. And I don't think I could do that. That's
Yeah.
just this is hard. But just everything she goes through. For one, that you guys are able to have that type of relationship to where you can sleep. And she'll get up and tend to vent and all that. And just being able to be there for one another. So I would say just continue to give her the love that she needs, and even if she says she's okay, she may need a break one day and just need just to go get coffee or just something like that, and just be there for her.
That's really good advice. Yeah, really
I
good
think that
advice.
is a really good advice. I think
Yep.
that's something that I lacked in the beginning, and I think that's a very good advice.
That's a seasoned
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
Like that is that's a dad that
I'll have
knows.
to write that down and remember that for the
Yep.
second one.
That's something
Well, you're
I'll get like
recording it,
tattooed
so
right here to remind me every day. Like those right here.
Well,
Boom, boom. I see it every morning.
that's what it goes back and boils down to, right? Happy wife, happy life, right?
Yeah.
right, yeah, because my wife, like I said earlier, she's gonna be in Utah with Kana for a month, and would I prefer to her be here? Of course. It's just me and Elisha, so that means I have to cook. I have to, make sure we're surviving. But for the most part, it gives her just that time to continue to strengthen that relationship between mother and daughter. And I
Uh-huh.
think that is, I wouldn't ever, tell her, oh no, you can't do that. That's just I think that's just being selfish, and even still, there are instances or times where, I put myself or my needs before, what I think would be best for, her or for us all together, even as a family, So it takes time, man, just to be able to kind of step back and see how you react or how you respond or how you treat one another or just how you just walk through, this journey of life,
Yeah.
and definitely being able to have a good group of people. I definitely think the three of you, Neil too, if he, he hasn't been on any of the podcasts, right?
No.
No.
Right, yeah. So even, you guys are a group, good group of people, seem like you all really, he went another advice and really just, have a strong bond together. So, I would say that, man, that's it. The father figures, in full effect, just being able to show other people that, hey, it's not as stressful as it may seem, or, everything is not going to be cookie cutter. You're going to have to make stuff up on the fly at times, and just to get through.
James, going back to the last episode, do you remember we were talking about you being deployed and you had like a question for Coach John about being away on
Oh yeah.
deployment?
So I was gone for 6 months. Like that.
Hmm.
That was brutal. And like you said, like man, Diana is such a trooper. Like I don't know how she did it. Like thank God she had family, but still like to be able to work her full-time job, pick Maddie up,
Hmm.
take her home, feed her, wash her, put her like, and on top of that, still gotta do work after that.
Right.
Like how like I guess when you're deployed and when
I
you
think it was
come
a
back,
transitioning. Yeah,
yeah,
I
the
think you were talking about
transitioning,
transitioning.
like how do you deal with that? Like like being gone for 6 months, you had your own routine, you know,
Hmm.
then you're coming back right into your family life. My Diana had her own routine. Like, how do you? What's that merging transition phase of like, oh, we're living together again now, but we've been apart for 6 months or more.
I think it can be seamless, and of course, being married the first time, it was really kind of I was deployed the first time I was married, and that process, that transition back was a little rough, even though we talked, every once in a while, or
Mhm.
not every once in a while, at least like once a week or something like that, we would talk. Of course, this is before, technology, FaceTime and all that stuff. We had to actually go line up, for the phone and all that stuff back in the day. So, but really just kind of neglecting some of that. There was always the excuse of, oh, I'm deployed. I don't have time to really to take those or to be intentional, to make sure our relationship is good. But now I would say, case in point, when I deployed, when we left here in 2018 to go to Louisiana, I was only there for about 2 months, and then they deployed me. So you figure during that time you're in a new place, a new environment, new everything, and then okay, so you ain't gonna go over across the across the world, and do something, just totally different again. So it was rough, but I'll say Angela and I just from previous deployments were able to come up with a routine and where we would talk to one another as much on a daily basis as we could. Whether it's when she's getting ready to go to bed, it will be morning for us. So in the desert. So we would kind of just talk, for a good, however long, just to kind of feel one another, on the day and how they, type of day she had or whatever. So this time coming back, it wasn't as much of a struggle to get back in the groove of things. It was always as if we just kind of we're still going together, locking, step in step, and it was yeah, pretty good. So definitely have been blessed with a good relationship. Just to be able to, for one, be married that long, but then to be in another relationship, it's like, wow, do you really want to get married a second time? But just being able to, trust God that, He brings the right people to us, when we need it.
I got a question for her. So all three of us besides you, like we have one kid. When you have multiple kids, I don't even know if this is possible. How do you love all of them equally? Like, it's like like
Again, that's his Asian side.
it is. Like you want to love everyone equally, but is it even possible?
Right.
It's like you have two people that's constantly wanting your love, 3 kids, 4 kids, 5. It's like you can't be like, hey, I'm gonna love you tomorrow. Like you can't love them all at the same time. Like how do you balance that?
Um, I would relate it to kind of coaching at the gym. Um, Lynn, the older
Yeah.
lady, so she may need some more time, some more hands-on time doing a certain movement than Chris, James, you may be proficient at a movement, so you don't have to spend as much time with Lynn as I would with you two. Whereas then Kevin comes in and he's almost got it, but he still needs to be, he still needs to be reassured, from time to time, like, hey, you're doing good, Kevin. I see, that snatch looks good. Just lock those arms out. So really, just treating it like that. Each kid's gonna be different. Some of our kids, like Kana, for example, when she left and graduated and went to college, she barely would even call us, and you have to be okay with that. We would reach out to her and she wouldn't respond to, days later. But she's okay, she's doing good and everything. So she doesn't need a lot of, support in that sense. Whereas, my two daughters, Genesis and Heaven in Georgia, they may need a little bit more of father time or mother, time or whatever. So I think that's how you balance it. That's how you love them equally, which is not going to be equally, but it's going to be enough for what they need, when they need it.
Okay.
Their love
So
languages.
hopefully
You have
you
to
don't
know
have
all their love languages, and
Yeah, love language is what it boils down to. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
I
but
just
that takes
don't
time to figure out
I
too,
just hope I don't subliminally love one person more just by like not knowing my actions. Like they always say the youngest
Yeah, yeah.
is the golden child, and the oldest is
uh,
always like kind of
Hmm.
pushed to the
well,
side. Like it's like,
are
oh
you
man,
the
James,
only child, James? Are you the only child?
I was the only child until my parents got remarried. My dad got remarried, and I ended up getting 3 sisters,
Oh,
an
okay,
older sister, and
Hmm.
then 2 younger sisters, and they
okay,
all like like man, they would triple team on me, dude.
okay.
That was some
well, James, let's worry about that when you have more
Yeah.
children.
yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you know
Kevin,
me,
are you
man.
the only child, Kevin? No,
Asians
no,
will
Kevin's
always
not the only
prepare,
child.
bro. We always got to look
No,
ahead.
I
no,
think
I'm not
because
the
you're
only
the
child.
only child, I think you
I
fear
have four
that,
siblings.
James. I think
It
because
could
James
be.
was the only child, he fears that. But I think Kevin and I, like having brothers and sisters, understand that I like as a sibling, sometimes it's okay to not have the attention of your parents.
I think it's just me.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, man, I love Maddie so much, and if I had another kid, like, I can't clone myself. Like, how do you like? It's just obviously I know I can do it, but it's just something that was just like, man,
You'll love
like,
them differently, but you'll love them the same amount, but it'll just be differently.
nah.
I feel
Yeah.
like.
How was that for you adjusting, with the extra children, James?
Oh no, I only got one kid. I always just think about ahead of
No, I
time.
mean when you said when your parents remarried, you
Oh yeah,
got
there you
what
go.
three
Dude, I
additionals?
hated
Yeah.
my stepmom. Like it was bad. I gave her hell, dude. Like I remember it was just because well, I had kind of a bad child. So like my parents got divorced, and uh, I didn't know why. I think I was like
How old were you?
I think I was maybe like 10. I was in elementary school, I know.
Hmm.
And then I remember I lived with my mom for a year. Never heard from my dad. And then I remember and then she met some guy. and then he had a daughter. And I remember I was just like, okay, whatever. Like, I don't know who this guy is. And I remember my mom told me, hey, you want to spend time with your dad in the summer. And I was stoked because, dude, I haven't heard from him in forever.
Yeah.
I remember meeting him, spent time with this during the summer. He had a girlfriend at the time that I met, and I never heard from my mom ever again after that.
Dang.
Like, my mom, yeah, she just bounced. So I was already salty from that. Like, I was like, well, dude, like, how do you, and then to make matters worse, my dad and that girlfriend, I remember we were all living together and she robbed us. I remember coming home from school and the house was empty except just my stuff and my dad's stuff. And I thought, I was like, are we moving? Like, what is going on? And I found out that, yeah, she took all our stuff. So at this point, I did not like it was just me and my dad, ride or die.
You weren't trustworthy, yeah.
But I was young. I didn't, my dad needed someone. I don't want him to be lonely. But, at that time I was young. I don't think about that kind of stuff. I was like, Dad, it's just you and me. And,
you've been hurt.
And then when he met my mom now, I was like, who is this?
Yeah.
Like
she could have been the nicest lady and it wouldn't matter to you.
Yeah, she was a pastor. I was like, I don't care if you're a pastor. Like, I don't care if you're Jesus. Like, I was like, dude, like, I don't know you. And I remember till this, like, when they got married, it was funny. And then, I got an older sister, 2 younger sisters, and it's weird. I don't really remember too much about my childhood, man. It's weird. It's really weird. I just remember bits and pieces, but as far as relationships with them, I don't really remember too much from it.
Right.
I don't know if something traumatic happened and I'm just blocking it, and I'm afraid to go talk to a therapist, and it's just gonna unlock stuff and be like, dude, why'd you do that? I'm all got PTSD. I'm all jacked up now. Like, what? So I just live with it. I wish I could remember. Like, I don't remember what, like, my high school friends. I don't even remember what middle school I went to.
Like,
I can't
high
even
school
tell you
friends?
what middle school I went to.
No
I
way.
remember in Texas. I don't remember what elementary school I went to. I don't remember what it looked like.
But you don't remember your high school friends? Like, that's...
No, I remember my high school friends.
Oh, okay.
Here and there, but I don't remember too much about high school. Like, I remember I ran track, cross country. Besides that, like, I don't remember any of my teachers. Like,
Dang,
it's weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. And you think about it. Oh, go ahead.
No. So my childhood was like, the transition was pretty brutal.
That's why James worries about these thoughts. Yeah,
I do, man. Like, I want my, like Maddie. She just got me twisted.
And when you have another child, I'm sure you'll spread the love, enough.
Dude, Kevin, you know me. I'm very black and white, X's and O's. I'm Asian too, so it's ones and zeros. Binary, dude. Like, if it doesn't fit a formula, there is no gray space. Like, I need to know, hey, you 30 minutes, you 30 minutes.
He's gonna have a timer. He's like,
there's not 2 of me, guys. So if you both want my attention, that's how it's gonna be. Like, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully Maddie's real cool and she's gonna be like, I don't care, Dad. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what? What's it called? I was listening to the episode where where it's just you and Chris, right? James, and I think you guys are mentioning something about giving your kids electronic devices, and you guys are saying, you're like, oh, remember when Kevin was saying, oh, he's only gonna let them have when it's introduced to them, and he's like,
through school.
Yeah. And then
already?
There's no way that
there's an ongoing bet that me and James have is over under of when it's gonna happen.
I'm gonna say, if I had to take a guess right now, your boy's gonna be 7 months. We'll have a phone.
Okay. So I talked about it with Dee, right? And so when I said that I'm not gonna let my son have any kind of electronic devices, what I meant by that was I'm not gonna buy him
I still think it's gonna be around a
No, I
year.
still think you're gonna buy him an iPad.
Yeah, I still think it's
Or
gonna be
it'll be
around
your
like 1
iPad,
year.
and you will just give it to him.
Hand it down.
Might not have
So
physically,
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. I'm not gonna buy him any additional electronic devices. So
Although
I
you're
got
gonna go in there
got
to
a lot
upgrade
of
your phone. You're gonna go in because this is what happened to
You're
me.
gonna
You're
get the
gonna go
old
in there
stuff.
to upgrade your phone,
I
and they're gonna be like, "Oh, you upgrade your phone, and you can get this iPad for like $20, and it'll make your plan go cheaper." So you buy him an
bro.
iPad. That's what happened for
I still
Shizu.
have my iPhone 3GS. Okay, I got my iPhone 3GS. I have the iPhone 4. I have
Your
the
iPad,
iPhone 6 Plus.
you're
Okay,
gonna have your iPad in your car, mounted on the car seat, and when that breaks, you're gonna be like, "No,
I
we're
have the
not.
iPad 1. Okay,
We're
I have
not
all
buying."
these electronic devices that I've
Oh, does your
since
iPad 1 even work?
yeah, it still works.
It
Like,
crashes, but yeah.
you can't even update that baby anymore, man. You can't even use the App Store, I don't think.
So it still works, So he might not have
Yeah.
new devices, but yeah, I'll let him use the ones that I have. That's fine. So yeah, we're good.
The bet's still going. Me and Chris, I can't wait.
Did you buy Maddie an iPad yet, James? You did, right?
I mean, it was a used one, yeah. So we have
Yeah,
an iPad that we use in the car for her. So it's like
Mhm.
an old one. I forget what version.
And
but,
that's all you use it for. Is just for
yeah, we just use it for
Maddie,
videos.
So basically, it's
She
Maddie's
watches her
iPad.
nursery rhymes. It's
Yeah.
not like some rant. It's like she learns her ABCs 1, 2, 3, like
Yeah.
educational stuff. But yeah, that's the only time she really uses the iPad is really in the car. We don't ever use it outside of the car. Yeah.
So it's gonna happen, Kevin.
I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I
It's gonna be like Black Friday. Buy one, get one free, and like done.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it for my boy. I bought an extra one for me that he's going to use. So this is good because I didn't buy it for him. I bought my iPad. I just got one for free. And
if there's loopholes, there's loopholes. But
yeah,
the point is, I'm not buying it for him.
Okay, D's gonna buy it then.
D's gonna buy it. Or your grandparents.
Grandparents will always spoil them.
That I can't help. I can't help.
You could be like, no, return it. Return that.
I can't help that. It is what it is.
Coach, we never asked, like, how's the retirement life?
Man, so the last 6 months when we were in Oklahoma was just me doing that internship at the gym there. So I didn't have to really, wear the uniform at all, that entire 6 months. That was just, I was still in the Air Force, but, just I guess transitioning out, I was able to do that. It's a program they just started. So it was good to be able to take part in that. So it was kind of like pre-retirement, and to just kind of help me just wind down in a sense and to understand, hey, this is how, you'll be, I guess not, different from, military and civilian life or whatever. So now coming here has been, it's good, kind of busy because, when I first got here, I was just so focused on, okay, we're going back to Hawaii. I need to, find a place to work at, just to, kind of get some money coming in. Not that was a primary concern or an immediate concern, So, I not volunteered, applied to work at Vitamin Shop, here in Kapolei. So I did that as an assistant manager, but that was a full-time job. So I was, for the past 2 weeks was just working, all day. And like, man, I'm not having time to do anything, So
I've seen his IG though. He's been like hiking and like he's been up early.
Yeah, well, so yeah, that was before I started Vitamin Shop. So the past 2 weeks, I hadn't been on a hike or anything. So I was like, well, I told the manager, hey, I'm gonna have to drop down to part-time hours, at least because I still want to help out at the gym. I still want to be able to show up there, for both morning and afternoon classes. And again, thank God that the both of us were able to retire still have some income coming in, so where it's not just an immediate concern that okay, we got to have money so we can live. So if anything, I'll probably just do that just to kind of do something. Maybe eventually, a couple of years down the line, of course, opening up the gym is still an option, or maybe just getting on with Zeus, yes, something like that. So we'll see. With Jay leaving, maybe I can get in as one of the investors and all that, and just kind of have a part in it. So the doors are open. We'll just take it as it comes, and but retirement, I mean, it's good just not having to know that okay, I have to be committed to the Air Force or the military. I can choose what I want to do. Yeah, just my life for from now on. Not the past 21 years. You have people tell you what to do, where to go, and just how to live, basically.
Yeah.
So just get in that mindset of thinking for myself in a sense, like okay, I'm a real adult now.
Well, piggybacking off of the military telling you how to live, I'm gonna have to leave you guys. You guys are more than welcome to keep talking, but I gotta wake up early tomorrow to catch a military flight to Maui. I still gotta pack some stuff. So
Oh, you get why
I
you
got
get
drill
drill or
tomorrow.
something?
He's got
Yeah, I got
drill.
drill.
Yeah, he's got drill.
What?
Yeah, I got drill tomorrow. Yeah, so I gotta wake up early to catch a C-17 to Maui. So,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's fun.
but good
All right.
catching up with you guys. But you guys keep
We'll see you
talking.
later, James.
Yeah. All right.
yeah. I'm gonna have to head out too. Me and my son to go see Venom, and it starts at
Nice.
10. So
No.
yeah,
I think
Oh,
this is a
tonight?
good. Yeah,
You
this
going
is
to
a
the
good.
movies tonight?
yeah. At
Oh,
10
nice.
o'clock. Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, go ahead and
All
head over
right.
there, and yeah, see what the movie's about. But man, it was good being able to be on. Thanks for inviting me, and
No, yeah,
just
this I would think of this as not the first and only, but first of many. You
Yeah.
know,
right, yeah, of course.
yeah, you can join us, and because fatherhood is you can't sum it up all up in 1 hour. That's for sure.
It's
Yeah,
always
that's for
evolving
So
sure.
too. So
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
we'll
It
definitely
is
have more
definitely.
opportunities to do this again.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Definitely good. Good thing you're doing.
all right. All right, guys. Good night.
All right.
All
Good night.
right,
We'll see you guys later.
take it easy.